Hi everyone, and welcome to the Hunter Moon Relationships reading for the end of October 2020. So as we kind of come up to Halloween, we've got this blue moon happening in the signs of Taurus and Scorpio, which is absolutely fascinating and of course perfectly dramatic. What a better way to end a very dramatic month. So I thought it was time to kind of check in with the energies because October has been very, very intense, and I think it's always good to just sort of pause, take a breath, and see where things are. Just kind of get a sense of where we've come, for example, since the full moon in Aries at the beginning of October, and then of course the new moon that happened mid-month when Mercury turned retrograde. So as usual, I'm going to be having a look at the energies between two people. These are represented in the lunar and the solar decks. Now, these aren't necessarily gender specific. This is about energy, about feminine and masculine energy. So for me, that is represented in the romantic sense with Venus and Mars. And of course, if we're talking about the more kind of mature energy, we're talking about the sun and the moon, which is the sort of the mother and the father archetypes. So let's dive in and see what wants to come through. And of course, as usual, I will clarify with the Magpie Oracle with some trinkets. Keep Venus in Virgo happy. Alright, so I think what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to just start with context. So let's see where things kind of have been. Okay, so this looks to me as though it's the journey of two people who really make each other happy, who are enthusiastic and really want to make this work, who may have some obstacles to overcome. Now, these could be external, for example, distance, money, differences in ages, for example, that kind of thing. But there's definitely a lot of passion here. So this is a very strong connection in terms of chemistry. We've got two fire cards here. In fact, they're all fire. So there's a lot of passion here. There's a lot of positive feeling. And this card here, the Nine of Wands, is also the Sun, which for me is the most auspicious card in the tarot deck. So I really feel as though this connection really feels good to both parties, and both of them are willing to work at it, to put in the work and see it going somewhere. We've got this wonderful horizon with the sun coming up in the background, which is wonderful. It's an echo of this sun card here. So both parties really kind of want to build something to form this kind of temple, this structure, and they see this is going somewhere. They have hopes for this connection. And then we've got the Ace of Wands, which is also the strength card in this deck. So this points to possibly people holding themselves back. Maybe they don't want to appear too keen, but equally there's a willingness to and a dedication to overcoming any kind of obstacles that may be in the way. And with the Ace of Wands here, this is people that want a fresh start, or who want who kind of feeling very new and passionate towards each other. So let's see what's going on with both parties. Okay, so this person on the left, the lunar person, definitely wants to put work into the connection. We've got the Eight of Pentacles here. This is all about hard work. It's about mastery. They may be working quite hard on their career at the moment, kind of getting to the next level. But equally, this can be about up-leveling or graduating when it comes to emotions, but relationships, a kind of a maturation happening. And it's interesting we've got the 8 here. For me, the 8 is very much associated with that 8th house in astrology, which is all about intimacy. It's about what we share with others. So this can be about, shared resources, which don't have to be physical. They can be things like trust, intimacy, love, all of those kinds of things. But nonetheless, this is looking very positive and is kind of reiterating the energy that we've got here. Wow. So here on the right, we've got the masculine energy, the solar deck, and here we've got the Two of Cups / Temperance. So I do really feel as though there is a lot of love between these two people, and the person on the right is definitely, you know, feels that this connection is very strong in the heart space, wants it to be balanced. You know, this is the cup between above and below, so they may feel as though this connection is, you know, kind of has a sort of divine element to it, that it's celestially blessed. This is, of course, the temperance angel, which is about balance, patience, moderation, as well as, you know, that sense of healing that sometimes, you know, is needed in the heart space before we can, you know, kind of come together with others in a balanced way. But this is a very, very auspicious start to the reading. Okay, so let's see what's going on below the surface. Right, so the lunar person is either coming to the end of quite a stressful cycle. Now, this may have something to do with work, of course, if they've been very, very hard at their career. And, you know, it has been a very volatile month as far as astrology is concerned, which can affect the finances, and you know, certainly things are changing in the external world as far as the economy is concerned. So the Ten of Wands here could point to other stresses that have maybe distracted this person a little bit from the connection, taken them away from the connection. It could also be that they feel a little bit burdened for some reason. Now, we will pull some magpie oracle trinkets just to clarify you know, what this kind of is. But the good thing is that it's the number 10, so we're coming to the end of what is essentially a difficult period, and of course we're coming to the end of October as well with this full moon energy, and we're moving into Scorpio energy from Libra. So this could also be about a kind of cycle change. Wow, so here on the right we've got the Knight of Cups. Now, this card did come up in the reading that I did mid-month for the October new moon, so it's possible that there's a connection here. You might want to kind of go back and just have a look at that. So this person may not necessarily be showing it, but they really are very taken with this connection. It's really ignited their sense of romance, poetry. It's kind of brought out their softer romantic side. You know, this is the Knight of Cups, so this is all about wanting to offer your cup of love to somebody. It's about a connection that inspires. It's inspiring. It could, this person might be feeling very creative as a result of this connection, because of course all these things are linked through the heart space, imagination, creativity, and love. But definitely this person, the solar person, is feeling very much that they found a very special connection and they do want to nurture it. So let's see where they both see this connection going. Okay, so the lunar person seems to be feeling either that they are ready to really fight for this connection. We've got the Seven of Wands here. Notice that we've got a lot of Wands energy actually in the reading. So they may feel that they really want to kind of work at the connection, fight for it. Now, if it's been stressful on some level, this person is wanting to persevere and to kind of push through any potential difficulties. The Seven of Wands can also be about putting up defenses. So, you know, if this person has been hurt in the past, possibly they've put up a little bit of a wall, or they're worried about the other person putting up a wall. But nonetheless, this is about being willing to kind of do what it takes to press forward and to overcome, you know, any obstacles that are kind of in the way. Right, so the solar person, the masculine energy, is kind of at a tipping point. They kind of feel as though they're coming up to a point where they're going to have to make a decision. This card is the Eight of Swords, but it's also the Justice card in this deck. So you can see the scales of justice at the bottom here. So maybe the connection has kind of got to a point where things need to either be talked about, or perhaps things need to go to another level. And of course that usually involves some kind of decision. You know, are we going to be exclusive? Are we going to move in together? Is it time to get engaged? Do we relocate to be together? All those kind of big decisions seem to be on the horizon, and certainly as far as this person is concerned. And you know, given that we've got the Strength card here, it is possible that there are some obstacles, practical possibly, that need to be overcome in order for these two people to come together. As I said, they may live at a distance from each other. Sometimes the Three of Wands can point to this, because it's usually about somebody looking out at their ships coming in. So it can imply, you know, physical distance sometimes. But nonetheless, I feel as though you know, the solar person is equally committed to the relationship. They're just maybe concerned about how to move things forward, or realize that it, you know, any commitment comes with certain implications, certain ramifications. We either have to change our behavior, change our relationship status, or maybe it involves some kind of commitment, and that can always make masculine energy a little bit wary. But let's see where things are going. Wow. Well, this is really heartening to see, I have to say, because the last two readings weren't all that positive. So as far as the, you know, the immediate future is concerned for this connection, the timeline looks really good. We've got the Two of Diamonds in reverse, but this is also the High Priestess. So when she's in reverse, she's no longer mute. You know, she tends to be in the tarot, she's the listener. So she listens and she sees, but she doesn't speak. Now with her in the reverse position, it's almost as though both people are ready to open up, and a conversation, you know, will ensue, because here we've got the Judgment card. So this is about a wake-up call, an announcement, an important decision again. So I think echoing this this Justice card here. So for me, this is about you know, both parties coming to the realization that something has to give, something has to be said in order for things to kind of move forward. Maybe they've also realized how good the connection is, you know, with the Sun here. This is a really kind of blessed connection, and so both need to talk about what needs to happen on a practical level in order for things to progress forward, because certainly with the Eight of Pentacles here, we are talking about two people who are really willing to work at the connection to make things happen, and, you know, to kind of get things going. So that looks fantastic. Let's pull some trinkets to get a little bit of clarity. Sorry, just having a sip of my tea. So let's start with that Strength card at the top. Okay, so the Fish has come out, and for me this kind of says that both parties know that this connection definitely is very special, and that there's a lot to the connection. You know, for me this is about the catch. So I think both parties feel as though their passions have been set alight, you know, with this being the Ace of Wands, and they're very keen for things to, you know, to kind of progress forward. They feel as though they've met a soulmate potentially here. Now there could also be considerations to do with money, for example. That may be why we've got the Strength card here, but let's find out a little bit more. So let's find out why this Justice card is, you know, kind of in at the top of the solar person's reading. Okay, so it looks as though it may have something to do with relocating or a family. So some kind of important decision needs to be made. Possibly one person has to relocate in order for the two of you to be together. Moving house, you could be thinking about moving in together. It could also be that one or both parties have children from a previous relationship, or it could be that one partner, for example, is still married. Maybe they're not living with the partner, maybe they are separated, but maybe you know, a divorce may be necessary. You know, this could be about legal matters. Justice here could be about legal matters. So, or you could be buying property together. That could also be the big decision. So let's have one for the Seven of Wands. So here we've got the Rider, which is associated for me very strongly with the Chariot. So this is about things moving forward, progressing. So this person is definitely keen to do what it takes, you know, to kind of beaver away at whatever it takes to move the connection forward. They're quite dedicated, and they want this connection to go places. And isn't it interesting that it's a 7, because the 7, of course, in the major arcana is the Chariot, which is all about forward movement. So that's good to see. So let's find out more about this Ten of Wands. We've got the ring here. So either things have been going around in circles, maybe, you know, there's been a sort of a moment of where things have kind of got a little bit stuck because maybe things need to go to the next level, and sometimes that takes a beat before we can muster up the courage to do that, and that may be why we've got strength here. This can also be about long-term commitments. So, you know, the ring can be about, you know, a marriage, for example, an engagement, or just a promise. So some kind of contract, and maybe this person's a little bit stressed, thinking, you know, is this too good to be true? You know, is this really going to work out? Maybe previous relationships haven't, but you know, on the whole, the ring is very positive. It suggests sort of longevity. So let's have one now for that Eight of Pentacles. Okay, here we've got the coffin. So the coffin for me is all about what needs to end, the kind of, you know, a death and rebirth kind of process. So it does look as though maybe some kind of cycle needs to come to an end, maybe to do with finances, or it may be that this person feels like they put the work in and they want things to now move to the next level, to kind of, you know, for one phase to kind of close out and for a new phase to start. So maybe this connection has been happening for a while and this person kind of wants to see progress. That may be why we've got the Rider here. They maybe want to see a ring and they don't know whether it's ever going to happen. You know, that could be, you know, what's on this person's mind. Yeah, but let's have one for that Two of Cups. Okay, so this is the cloud. Now, the cloud can sometimes be about depression, or it can be about a little bit of confusion. And that may be why we've got the Justice card here and the High Priestess in reverse. So maybe because this person realizes that this connection involves a higher level of commitment, they have got a little bit of cold feet, or it's kind of got them into a place of anxiety, because of course this is also the Eight of Swords, and that can be about feeling a little bit trapped. Now, you know, this could be literal. It could be that this person, as I say, is still married legally to somebody else, so there may be sort of an element here of, oh, you know, gosh, I'm not really sure, is my my separated partner going to agree to a divorce, for example? What is this going to mean for my kids, you know, if there's children from a previous relationship? So there's a few doubts or fears kind of hanging over this person, but you know, I do think that they will overcome them, given that we've got this wake-up call energy and we've got this clarity here. Yeah, but let's have one for this Three of Wands. So we've got two here. The trinket has kind of come out together. We've got the Star and we've got the Bear. Very interesting. So for me, the Star is all about either a divinely ordained connection, the sense that things are meant to be, that they're written in the stars. And isn't it interesting that the Star almost kind of mimics the top of this teepee? So this is about feeling that there's something very special about the connection, that it's, as I say, divinely ordained, and that there's great hopes for the future. You know, we've got the sun rising in the background, so I think it reiterates this energy. And then we've also got the Bear here. Now, the Bear can be read in a couple of ways, one of which is, you know, sometimes it's about power, or it's about success. So it could be that one person is a little bit more successful than the other one in terms of career. Maybe there's an age difference, for example, but equally it could be about wanting the connection to progress, for, you know, for there to be a successful outcome, because that's certainly what we see here with the Three of Wands, and it's kind of reiterated by this Lion energy here, which for me is quite similar to the Bear in a way, as well as the solar energy that we've got here, which is, of course, the Sun rules Leo. So very, very strong, powerful energy here. Yeah. So let's have one for the High Priestess in reverse. Or before that, we need one for the Knight of Cups. Interesting. So this is for me the sides in the Lenormand system. So it's the axe. Now this can be about swift movement. It isn't always necessarily something being cut out. It can be about a swift decision that needs to sort of be made. And again, I think it points to this Eight of Swords justice energy here. So this person really does feel as though you know, they found the one, but they realize that it's going to demand some action on their part, and I feel that that means that maybe something has to be kind of cut out, whether it is, you know, a marriage, whether it is an old way of life, or whether it's moving, for example, but you know, something may need to change, and change can be scary, let's face it. So I think this explains why we've got the clouds here, and also maybe why we've got the Ten of Wands. Right, let's have one for the High Priestess. The Tree. So this tells me that maybe this process has taken quite a long time. You know, I mean, if we think about it, the Two of Pentacles in reverse can be somebody who spent a long time weighing things up, maybe has put off making decisions for as long as possible, and this may be why we've got this stressed energy here in the sort of lower half of the lunar person's reading. Maybe they feel as though this person has been deliberating for a very long time. What is there to think about? Let's, you know, push forward kind of thing. Let's end whatever the status quo is, and you know, in order for things to sort of move forward. But this can also point to a need to put down roots. So again, it could point to some kind of relocation that may be necessary. Again, you know, as I say, these people could be separated by distance. Or it may be that, you know, certain things have to kind of fall into place in order for the situation to progress. So for example, maybe somebody's waiting for a settlement, maybe they're waiting for a bonus payout, a pension, something. You know, it could be monetary, given that this is the Two of Pentacles. And that may have taken a while to sort of fall into place. There may have been some sort of delay here. So for Judgment, we've got the Child. This is the children. So it seems as though, you know, whatever this wake-up call or this announcement is not necessarily dramatic. It might have something to do with children. Again, you know, it could point to this house here, and of course the tree can sometimes point to family, as in, you know, roots are roots. So there may be children involved, and this may require some kind of decision. But equally, this could be about a small shift that changes everything. You know, kind of baby steps almost. That all it takes is one step forward, and then, you know, other things kind of fall into place. So let's have one for that Eight of Pentacles. If we can get this out. Interesting. So again, we've got two trinkets coming out. If I can just untie it from its knot. Okay, so here we've got the anchor, and we've got the lily. Now, if I'm not mistaken, these also came out together in a previous reading. So you might want to just go back and have a look at either the beginning of October or that mid-October reading. So interesting. For me, this is about, this combination is about sort of like maturity and stability. So it's almost like that kind of Ten of Pentacles energy. You know, in order for one to kind of have stable foundations for a relationship long term, there has to be sort of wisdom and maturity, and there also needs to be a sort of consistency and stability, you know, involved. So I think it does reiterate this idea of mastery that we have in the Eight of Pentacles energy here in the card. And it also points to both people having kind of up-leveled quite a lot, perhaps over the course of the relationship, really grown and matured as individuals in order to get to this point. But, you know, the 8 is very stable energy. It's double 4. So I think this is what the anchor is really kind of pointing to. So on both levels, I feel as though, you know, both parties have really, they've put in the work, they have up-leveled, they have really grown in wisdom, and as a result, they're about to kind of graduate, not just on the personal level, you know, from an emotional point of view, but also in terms of the relationship. So, I mean, this really does look very, very auspicious. Really nice to see. Right, so let's get some final parting advice. So what message do we have as a kind of parting message for love for the end of October 2020? Whoopsie. Right, those wanted to come out. Let's see. How fascinating. So on the left, we've got, in any moment, I can surrender to the powerful presence of love through prayer, contemplation, and stillness. And I think this card also came out in one of the previous readings, so you might want to just go back and have a look. And that for me was all about growth. I think that there was this need to kind of go within, to shift within, and that would shift, you know, relationship dynamics. So it looks as though these two have really done the work. This, I think, is pointing to this Eight of Pentacles energy and the Seven of Wands energy. So these two people really have surrendered their, you know, this person has surrendered their burden, perhaps given it up to the divine. This may be what the star is about here. This kind of divine presence. I mean, this could be a powerful presence, you know, like a guide, for example. And it's really paying off, because here we've got this kind of aha moment, this wake-up call, this moment of clarity where we sort of speak our truth and we kind of come clean and we say how we feel. And it does look as though it's really going to pay off, because here we have the universe works fast when I'm having fun. So I think also just a reminder that not everything about relationships has to be dead serious. I think taking us back to the sun energy, which is always very, very playful. You know, if you think about the sun card in the Rider-Waite deck, it's that image of a child on a white horse that is really very joyful and happy and kind of light-hearted. And of course Leo is the kind of magical child, so I think quite fitting that we've got these rainbows here. That's actually been quite a big theme over the last few months, I think, rainbows. So really, really positive. I do feel as though there is going to be this very sudden shift. You know, maybe this person has also been doing some work on kind of affirmations and, you know, kind of inner shifts and things in the sort of imaginal domain. So definitely it seems as though it's going to pay off, because things seem to be moving in a very, very positive direction. So let's just get some parting charms just to kind of round the reading off. So on the left we've got the garden. So I think definitely pointing to a shift in, I think, not just for these people, but I think also for the zeitgeist. I think there's been a huge shift in the collective, and you know, I think that this is being expressed in not just an interpersonal or transpersonal level, but also on a personal level. Okay, so here we've got the cookbook, which I think is quite funny. So I think this is pointing to somebody who maybe has been writing down their sort of affirmations, the things that they want to kind of manifest. This can also point to sort of secrets, or just not saying certain things. And, you know, in the upright, as I say, I feel as though the Queen of Wands, I mean, the High Priestess can sometimes be quite secretive and mysterious. So yeah, it's interesting that we've got the book here. So I think this is about two people kind of learning about each other, learning and growing through the connection, and also learning to sort of balance this, you know, a little bit of serious energy here with the bear, with the light-hearted energy of the playful energy of the sun. So yes, I think just kind of reiterating the fact that both parties have learned a lot and have really kind of graduated when it comes to themselves and this relationship. So what a wonderful positive reading. I'm so pleased. I was beginning to think that, you know, I was only ever going to have negative stuff kind of coming out. Because I, you know, one of those people that always has to give people the hard truth sort of thing, the harsh reality. So this is really wonderful to see. I'm so pleased. So do let me know in the comments if it's resonated, and wonderful news. So happy for whoever this pertains to. Many full moon greetings. Happy Halloween, happy Samhain, and I'll see you again in a couple of weeks for the next reading.